Hey everybody, and welcome to my second YouTube video. So this was actually going to be my first video, um, but I decided to make it my second one since for the first one I wanted to show how I go from basically a blank canvas to at least an initial sketch. If you saw it, I show how to do or how I do gesture lines, how I kind of build a form, and kind of map out a pose, and just kind of go from there. I'm still working on that one actually, so maybe I'll get back to it in the near future. One thing I'm noticing making this second video here is it takes a long time. One painting takes about maybe anywhere from 8 to 15 hours, and I'm not going to sit there and show every single little step I do. So this one was when I decided to actually do a YouTube channel, and I had already done the sketch. So I'd already done the blue line skeletal kind of form, the muscle structure, got the poses down, and once the sketch was done, decided, hey, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel, kind of show how I do this. But I didn't want it to be the first one since, I'll be honest, there's a lot of people out there that accuse artists of using AI or redrawing AI or doing stuff with AI, and I just didn't want to bother with that crap. I mean, I'm sure there's still going to be people out there saying, "Oh, look, you're tracing AI or doing this," because that's just the world we live in nowadays. Nobody can believe that people are actually born with artistic talent. So I decided to make the first video, a video of me actually sketching something out from scratch, which may be kind of petty reasoning, but again, don't really care, don't really give a shit. It's my channel. I'm gonna post what content I want when I want. So yeah, man, I'm trying not to turn this into a AI rant channel with every video, but it's kind of hard when this is what artists are facing these days. So as you saw with the beginning of this video, once I actually have a sketch down, and something workable that I like. This is all after I've changed proportions and stuff, and redrew hands. Hands are hard, yes. Not gonna lie. What I usually do is I will cut around the figures like you saw in the beginning, and I start to make stencils because if I have, let's say, one subject, the character, whatever it is, will be on their own layer. That way I don't have to worry about overpainting or painting off into the background. I basically just cut it out. It's the same thing for those of you that oil paint or do acrylic paints. When I did that stuff, we would use tape, and we would kind of tape off sections that we didn't want our paint to go on. So it's basically kind of that idea. So in here, I started with the male character in the back, which I'll talk a little bit about what this painting actually is in a little bit later on. But once I get the stencil cut out, I just start drawing in little accessory pieces like horns, in this case little shoulder spikes, and start working around that figure. So yeah, you can see here I'm kind of doing these shoulder spiky things. Right now there's only two layers. The background kind of gray, or I'm sorry, I should say three layers. The background light gray, neutral layer. I don't like drawing on white. It's kind of bright computer screen, kind of hurts the eyes, so I use like a neutral gray. And then I have the kind of darker gray area, which I use for one figure, and then I just do different shades of gray. Yeah, yes, yeah. I use about 50 shades of gray on all my layers now. But right now, I went ahead and I deleted the skeleton layer underneath, the muscle layer. I don't really need it. It just takes up memory, honestly. I mean, some people keep it. You can keep it if you want. It doesn't really matter. And here with the spikes, I'm doing a whole nother layer. And making sure not to overdraw into little detail segments I have there. As you can see, I do use the Smart Select. Just based on the kind of sketches I did for the spikes, and then I kind of clean up the edges a little bit. Yeah, just want to make them look really spiky, nice and sharp. You know, you can't have a demon with dull horns or dull spikes. So yeah, a lot of it is messy at the time, and I'll turn layers off to see things better. And yeah, this is just how I clean stuff up. Just the eraser tool at maximum hardness, 100%, and just draw over it. There's a lot of overdrawing. Oh wait, you know what? Yeah, I think I did cut her layer out in the beginning. I'm totally forgetting what I actually did or didn't do. So you can see, yeah, she's. I guess I didn't change what shade of gray she was. She's on her own layer. He's on his own layer. The hand is on a different layer. I just think of it like as stacking body parts on top of each other, which sounds kind of morbid, but yeah, that's I'm a morbid guy. If you stick around this channel with any art I'm going to be uploading later on. One thing I am noticing though is these wings that I'm cutting out right now, I do not keep. This painting is already done. Again, like I said earlier, I think this one took me about 8 hours. 12 hours, I don't remember. It took a while to finish, and I ended up just completely redoing the wings since I hated the way these turned out, and it didn't give any room for me to give her any wings either, since this character, she is supposed to have wings. And if you're wondering what that grain on the actual canvas is, I use a kind of translucent, noise layer, because I like it to look kind of painterly. I do like that kind of gritty feel. I feel like a lot of digital art nowadays looks too clean. The lines are too sharp. I kind of prefer something kind of, I don't know, kind of softer edges, which I think will be the last video based on this painting I'll show, which I'll get to. I don't know if this video is going to be, or this painting, this drawing is going to be either 2 videos or 3 videos. I'm not, that's one thing too. I don't think anything I'm going to upload, at least the majority of stuff, is going to be my full process on anything. It's just, it takes too long, honestly. And unless I do a video series just based on one painting and it's sped up, like this right here is sped up around, I want to say 2 to 4 times. I pick different segments to speed up, so it's not all going to be the same speed for everything you see here. Man, I really hate those wings. I'm so glad I got rid of them. But anyway, this painting right here is based on characters from 2 novels that I have out called Hellverse. The first one, they're self-published, and I'm actually working on the 3rd one right now, looking to see if I can't get a bigger platform. So if you like dark fantasy and horror, it's basically dark fantasy, cosmic horror, gothic romance, alternate history, war story. Not really a romance novel, but there's a love story there. I mean, look at those two. If you can see the tiny, thumbnail on the side and my navigator right there. Yeah, it's kind of loosely based on the Lesser Keys of Solomon, since I'm huge into demonology, and these 2 in particular are based on Nergal and Ereshkigal from Babylonian mythology, except I rename them Azrael, since I also like Gnostic mythology, and I kind of combine I don't know, Gnosticism, Grecian mythology, the whole Greek pantheon, and Babylonian. So I did take creative liberties on, you know, ancient god designs, and with him, I did like I added the spikes on the face, and I'm not a big fan of main characters with or demons, I should say, specifically demons, not main characters, demons with like facial hair. It's always seemed too cheap to me. It's kind of an easy way out, I guess. I like spikes and expose. You can see his cheek, exposed muscle there. Oh, really quick sidetrack. This is how I do hair. Hair is probably one of the second hardest things to do, besides, I want to say, skin surfacing, detailing. Shading is easy, but getting skin to look like skin is kind of the hard part. Hair, I think of hair as in the shape of the hair, not so much every single individual strand, although when I do paint hair, it is very tedious, extremely tedious. So, going back to the actual mythology behind this, yeah, I have two books out. It's kind of based around what if, you know, ancient mythology, the Bible, demons weren't actually demons, maybe more like creatures from another dimension, cosmic horror kind of stuff, like a lot of H.P. Lovecraft and Clive Barker influence in terms of like demons and angels being the same thing, but they're also kind of aliens, but they're also not. If you guys want to check the links below in the video, in the description, I'll have links to the Amazon page to get them. It's very violent, very bloody. I kind of wrote it in sort of a more classic literature kind of sense. It's not very modern. It's more biblical type language, but pro-demon, if that makes any sense. So, oh yeah, here we go. I'm working on the horns now. Horns are always fun. I like doing detailing on kind of smaller specific body parts when it comes to like horns, tails, wings, claws. I love drawing faces. Probably one of my favorite things to do. Bodies, I like it. I'm good at it, but it's not my favorite. I kind of get a little lazy sometimes. But oh, here you can see me doing some shading. So what I'm doing here is, for my shading on my neutral gray tone layer with the character, I use the burn and dodge tool. Yes, the original amateur way that when you're first starting everybody does. But I stuck with it, and I decided I'm just going to learn how to do what I know how to do the best I can. And I kind of treat it almost the same way as if I'm drawing something with pencils. This is how I would do it. I would create my my larger shadowed areas. I know where my shadows are going to sit. For this one, I was deciding I wanted just pretty even lighting. I didn't want any strong overhead lighting, no underlighting, just even, like an old Renaissance portrait painting was what my goal was. By the end, I have an image in my head, and I hope that with my process I can match that image. And also, from knowing anatomy and how lighting works, I can see where you put more cast shadow under the nose, tighten up under the eyes, and you basically just start adding shadows where shadows would sit. Anyway, oh, where was I? Yeah, for the book anyway. It's on Amazon. You can pick up 1 and 2. They're very, very bloody, very violent. If you like, God, what can I compare? Dante's Inferno. There we go. If I had to compare it to anything, it would be like Dante's Inferno meets Lord of the Rings and Hellraiser, all set during Paradise Lost. with a lot of influence from Dark Souls, Bloodborne, one of my favorite games of all time, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, and Blood Omen. I think I was working on these designs and the story. Man, back way when I was a kid, I had an idea for this, but I didn't actually start doing art and writing it until I'll say maybe the past like 7-8 years. And Legacy of Kain was one of those series that always stuck with me, which I'm really disappointed that they didn't continue. And I kind of wish they did. I think Defiance I had on PS2 and is probably still to this day, one of my favorite game narratives. I'm not really big into story with video games, because when I'm playing something, I want to play. I really don't care what the damn story is when I'm playing a game. I don't think I've ever played a video game that really blew me away narrative-wise. Like, oh my god, they need to make like a whole movie series out of this. The video game writers aren't exactly all that great, I'll just say, especially nowadays. I've been finding myself playing more I'll just say Eastern influenced games. I'm not really big into the Western gaming market. One, because the stories I just not a fan of, and two, this is where I'm gonna find out if I get subscribers or hate comments. I don't like Western character design. I'll just say it. I don't find anything inspiring about it. And I will just say that there's too much of a push for representation. Representation is great to a point, but it's at the point now where it's kind of overshadowing the creative process, and we're really no longer, I think, getting interesting characters or interesting stories anymore. Stuff nowadays is way too reflective of the real world and modern times. And I remember growing up that things like, here we go, things like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, other things that have been kind of co-opted by people that don't understand the source material. Used to be escapist fantasy, and it was just fun. It was for everybody. Now, nothing really inspires anymore, and I honestly think inspiration is more important than representation. For example, growing up, one of my favorite movies to this day is Predator, the first Predator movie. I wasn't built like any of those guys. I was a kid, and even back then, I was never the kind of person that needed to see myself in whatever media I consumed. I liked all types of characters, all different types of characters. They didn't necessarily have to be a reflection of me. I mean, I knew I wasn't a 6'2" jacked commando in the middle of a jungle, and I wasn't, a former CIA agent going up against some kind of invisible alien hunter. But it inspired me to want to get into the gym, start working out, start taking martial arts. Same thing with a lot of stuff I was into. Back in the 90s, I was a huge fan of Spawn. And I am the farthest thing from Al Simmons that you could imagine, but I love the character. Did the character represent me? No, absolutely not. But did the character inspire me? Yes, 100%. That's what kind of got me into wanting to do more like horror kind of based comics, more supernatural based comics, and not so much of the sci-fi stuff that was really prevalent in the 90s. I remember picking up that first issue of Spawn and just being amazed by the artwork and just how different it was at the time. That got me more into Image Comics and the kind of art style that the Image artists had, which a lot of them were former Marvel Comics that started their own independent company, which I thought was really cool. Got into Darkness, Witchblade, and again, those characters, I didn't feel they represented me, but they didn't have to. What they did, which was more important, though, was they inspired me, and they inspired me to want to do my own book, my own story. I was going to try to do a graphic novel, but drawing takes a long time, and it was much easier to just start writing books and do artwork along with those. So yeah, that's kind of my stance on representation. It's not that it's bad. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, we shouldn't have any representation. I mean, we should, up to a point. But too much of anything can be overdone and abused. Like nowadays, I think the first time I noticed where representation overshadowed creativity was when the Devil May Cry reboot came out, DMC, and Dante's character design looked exactly like the creative director. Like, dude literally put himself in the game. And nowadays we're seeing that a lot more often. And I don't remember if that game came out, 2008, 2009, something like that. Maybe later. I really don't remember. I don't care to look it up either. I just remember that game was horrible. It was garbage, crap. And I'm so glad they went back to the original Devil May Cry and made Devil May Cry 5, which was probably my, I don't know, second or third favorite one in the series. But yeah, I'm not going to go rant anymore about representation versus inspiration, but that's pretty much my stance on it. So no surprises here on out. A lot of the art that I'm going to be doing, I'm hoping is more inspirational rather than so representative. Like this character I'm drawing, I don't look like this guy. I mean, I am muscular, but I don't have the same exact physique, and my wife does not look like the woman in the painting here. This 100% only serves the art for the story for what it actually is. I'm not trying to redraw what I think I wish I was or put myself in it. I'm just doing what I think looks cool, which is based around a lot of my favorite painters from, I want to say like the 70s and 80s. Boris Vallejo, Julie Bell, Brahm is another favorite of mine. A lot of the high fantasy stuff like Masters of the Universe, Conan the Barbarian, along with the old like biblical painting artwork you see from like Gustave Doré. That's the inspiration I'm taking for a lot of my stuff, and almost pretty much everything that I've been doing for the past I don't know, my entire life, and everything I'll be posting moving forward if I keep this channel going. So anyway, if you like the content, if you like the kind of stuff I do, if you like this style, if you're looking for more high fantasy with an emphasis on heroic type characters that look like they only eat chicken, rice, and broccoli and hit the gym every day, along with crazy creature monster designs, then this will be the channel for you. The next one is probably going to be, I don't know, maybe a week or two. I'm going to try to compile the video. It's going to be more of this painting. It's going to be just more shading, more stenciling. I don't remember if I changed the wings or not in the next one, but yeah. Whoever's left around, or any new subscribers, anyone that stumbled onto my channel, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you didn't, well, leave a nasty comment. This is the internet after all, and that's what people are really good at. Take it easy, guys.